What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to to Juve drawing games again. If I want to say this is new, it's not new. We've been here. We've been here recently. We've been here all of last season, basically. That we're not, able to win games. The only difference is, I think that we are not able to win games that we actually should be winning. Not because that we're better on paper, but I think throughout 90 minutes, even if yesterday wasn't that obvious like against Sporting, but I rewatched the game and yeah, you had kind of enough to maybe sneak win it. So that's maybe a difference, but overall, in the end, we didn't win. We're gonna talk about the same things that maybe Spalletti can fix, maybe not. But right now we have the same issues. We're going to talk about the league, what it means, etc., and then we'll talk about other things the chat will bring up. Imran, how are you? How are you doing after yet another draw?
Great, but yeah, we are used to drawing. I think last season, I remember with Mota when it was like 8, 10 draws. Today we are in the same situation. Yeah, it's a bit different because the context is different, but not winning is really harsh, especially that when you play good.
It is. It is. I think what makes it a bit worse as well is when you look around the league, or maybe positive, that nobody's really running away at this moment in time, and that could be an advantage for us. Milan, I think they play better, but they have one game a week, and they are not able to get games over the line, for example. But Bologna are up there again; they're not going away. Some of us maybe did not even include them. You have Napoli struggling. We talked about it offline. Roma, yes, they're up there, but I think they also played many games where it's like, how did you able to win? But they are winning. So credit to them. And you have Inter, who probably have the best squad, but have an unexperienced coach, to be honest, but doing very well. That is also the reality of the matter. So all these things, you can look at it two ways, positive or negative. But the big takeaway is we didn't beat Torino. So we start off with that. I think the first obvious question is, why didn't we beat Torino, Imran? What do you think was wrong? What was the main reason why we failed to beat? I think a Torino side that offered nothing besides that one big chance, and that was very lucky because Thuram, just bounced in that direction. Is that, like, we didn't get outplayed by Torino because they had no intention to outplay us. But what is your takeaway?
I think looking at the game, we are not ready yet to play this kind of games. Like we are struggling against sides like Sporting, like Cremonese, Udinese. They open the play, and we are still struggling to score from the chances that we create. So imagine against a Torino side that is defending with 11. I think we are not ready to play to play against these kind of teams. We still need to work on finishing, because in some games you create a lot, and we're still missing. Some players, they are sleeping instead of shooting. Some players, I don't know how they miss the chance. So imagine like what's going to do against a team that is defending with 11. I think that today we are not ready to play against this kind of low blocks. First of all, we need to figure out what is the starting lineup up front, and not only the starting lineup, but also how can we unlock the right side. Because for today, I don't know if you agree with me, but you see that the left side is a bit working, with Cambiaso, Turam, Yildiz. They are trying to create, and when you add Cop Miner is there, the left side is moving. But then when you look at the right side, like there's really nothing going on there. It's only the right winger that is taking the ball, trying to dribble, and let's hope that he will put in a good cross, or like he will solve it. It's really a one-man war there on the right. So I think for me we need to figure out the balance for the left and the right side, and we need to try to go from the middle a bit because for yesterday, or we didn't see a team that tried to go through midfield, that tried to shoot, that everything was blocked, and we relied on the wingers that we were sometimes they weren't accurate enough. So overall, yeah, it's a pity that you don't win a game like the one of yesterday, but I'm not really pissed off because after the Sporting game, I was really, really pissed off. But yeah, like after the game of Torino, I'm not because I feel like we are not ready to play this kind of games.
I mean, you say quite a lot there to unpack, but the idea was to play through the middle, or not play through the middle. Excuse me. I think Spalletti post game said like the idea was to flop the midfield and make Torino add more bodies to the midfield. That's okay. It's a plan, but Lazzaro and I think Peterson was it right? They they played a very good game. They played a really really good game, which yeah, um, you can try to play through the midfield, or try to invite Torino to add more bodies to the midfield. But if they have your wingers kind of unlocked, then well, you're running into a brick wall, which we were doing most of the time. We were just running into a brick wall, time and time again. That's what we're trying to do. And on that right and left hand side, I agree. But to unlock that as well, Cambias on the right hand side.
The left,
Like Cambiaso on the right hand side. Play him on the right hand side. Like if you want to unlock certain things, where did Cambiaso play against Cremonese? Which side?
right?
Yeah, and what did he say post game? I feel better on the right hand side, and I think we all agree that's probably his best game he's played in a very very long time. I do agree the left hand side looks better. It does, because you have different play. Like you can ask Kalulu to do what a Court Miner is trying to do, or a Cambiaso maybe. It's not going to look good. It's not going to work. At one point,
Yeah.
Kalulu will stop and he will put in a cross. That's it. Like that's it. So the solution is you're going to need to put Cambiaso on the other side if you want to get something. Does that mean you need to play Kostic? I don't know. Maybe. Like I have no idea. I think post game Spalletti said, now I have time to change formation, to work on different things. So I'm assuming he's gonna change things. I'm assuming that he's not gonna sit back and like he said, I try to keep things kind of in place right now that are in place, because I didn't want to tweak too much, because there's not much time to tweak. Like he can come in and say we're gonna play 4-3-3, but we're gonna do that based on 2 training sessions. It's not going to work, is it? Like it's going to be a disaster, So that's what he's saying. He said, now I have 2 weeks. Yes, players are leaving, but the players I have, and some of them are starting. The players are staying. They're starters. I'm going to try to work on these type of things. So he has time to change things. But like you said, we don't score, we don't shoot. Like nobody. I think everybody's scared to shoot. At one point, if you're struggling to break somebody down, then start shooting on goal. Start shooting on goal. The moment you get an opportunity, take a shot. And yeah, Conceição tried to do that, and well, you know how Conceição, it's hit and miss. It's very good, or it's, are you actually a professional footballer when you take some of these shots? There's no in between when it comes to Conceição, when he takes shots. That is also a problem, the quality of shots, if somebody finally takes a shot. But Torino, they did what they had to do. They came back, they sit in deep, they don't have a quality squad, they don't like to actually play football, they lack a lot of qualities, and they were like, fine. The first half, I don't think they crossed the midfield properly in that first half. Really. Like they didn't. In the second half, they were like, you know what, we're going to step it up. And they had a good moment where they had possession, but they didn't create anything. Again, that Turam thing where it bounced his way and he took that, and Di Gregorio made a very good save. Other than that, they didn't cause any real trouble. We took over again after that. But the thing is, you know, did we do enough to win that game? Maybe, maybe. Somebody said we had enough chances. We had moments, but we didn't make chances out of those moments. Like the McKennie header, is that a clear-cut chance? I don't really agree. I think you need to put in a ridiculous perfect header to beat a goalkeeper, like a decent goalkeeper from that point of view. That's how I'm looking at it. Other than that, maybe Jonathan David in a scuffle in the mix, but no real clear-cut chances. That was the problem, and that has been the problem under Motta, under Tudor, under Spalletti right now, even though it's too soon and it's not fair to blame Spalletti. It's a problem. I was looking at it. I don't know if you agree, but that's my next question. I was looking at that game, and I was like, and actually post game, Spalletti said we lack somebody or we lack the final pass in the final third, somebody who can make that killer pass, who's clean on the ball, etc., who dares to play that pass. And I'm like, I agree, but your subs told me you didn't agree with that. Like Atsic came in relatively late. Openda comes in, he sticks him on the left. I'm like, that's a waste. That's a complete waste, in my opinion. I was looking at, and I'm not saying that Miretti was gonna win you the game, but I was looking at it, was like, if that's what you need, you put in Miretti. If somebody's gonna play or try to play that pass and has the ability and also the mindset of I'm gonna play that pass, even if it's not working, you don't know. You play Miretti, 10, 15 minutes, whatever. He doesn't do that. So at that point, I sat back. I'm like, yeah, you can tell us that, but your subs told me you're not really trying to do that, So I don't know what you think about that, because Conceição is not the guy who's going to play the killer pass. He's not. He's just not going to do that. Thuram is not going to do that. They're not. McKennie definitely not going to do that. The players who potentially could do that, in my opinion, was on the bench. So I don't know what you think about that statement, and then also his subs.
Yeah, I think what he said was right. We lacked someone that can be there as a number 10, that can give you that final pass to feed the attackers. But like Yildiz could have done it. If you move the Yildiz to the midfield, he could have done that job. But I don't know why he didn't do it. Like put Openda on the left and put Yildiz as a number 10. He would have solved. He would have give you that final pass, or at least he would have tried to. But Miretti is good. Is a good player. I think Adzic too. But looking at Miretti and his physicality, I don't know if he would have stayed on his feet with the Torino defenders. I think they would have killed him yesterday if he would try to stay there in the middle and find a ball. Either they will send him with another injury, or he won't receive the ball. I don't see Miretti there, but Yildiz is someone that can, for me, I think he can fight. He can still fight with the strong defenders. So for me, I would have changed the Yildiz as a number 10 and add either Kostic or put a player there on the left, and put Yildiz as behind the number 10, and I think he would have created something. But overall, our main problem for this Juventus is the midfield. We don't have enough qualities, because I think even with the midfield of yesterday, like Locatelli and Thuram, they should have created chances, but they can't. So we have a really big problem there. We need to adapt. We don't have options. We can't get players from the market, so you need to adapt to what you have. And Spalletti, I believe that in these two games, he understood that there is really a massive problem at Juve. It's the midfield. You don't have enough choices. The players are not giving you enough, but these are the players for the rest of the season. You need to try to come up with a lineup, with a tactic that will consider the qualities that you have. Don't think about something that you don't have. If you don't have a number 10, don't think about a lineup that needs that player there. That the play will depend on him. Like, you have good wingers, work on the wings. You have players, good fullbacks work on fullbacks. Like work on your strength. Don't try to work on something that you don't have. This is really my advice for Spalletti.
He will have time to figure things out right now. Um, Somebody agrees that we need to look to play Cambiasso on the right. If Spalletti should have put Kostic, I feel Spalletti should have put Kostic on the left, but Cambiasso on the right would have been better offensively. If you don't improve our touches and our shooting technique, striking the ball with quality, I mean, some players won't. That's how I'm looking at it. Cambiasso need to play on the right-hand side. He's not helping Yildiz at all. You can clearly see Yildiz being frustrated with Cambiasso multiple times. I agree that he needs to put on the right, but again, I'm going to repeat what I also said. It cannot be that the difference is that big between right and left. That cannot, like, as a professional footballer, I'm sorry. And Spalletti in his first presser said, players need, in this day and age, players need to be able to play multiple positions. And we're not asking Cambiasso to go from playing left back to playing number 9. We're asking you to play right back. Like, yeah, it's different, but it cannot be that massive. Serious lack of quality, unfortunately, and not just that, lack of quick movement, also quick cuts and passes. That you can coach, in my opinion. Felt like both Yildiz and Conceição both tried too much to walk in the goal or take on 2-3 defenders against a bunker. Maybe we need Mbappe or some Brazilian. Everybody needs Mbappe, I think. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's just, the unfixable. That's how who's gonna fix the unfix? It feels unfixable because when we talk about it, when was the last time you think Vlahovic scored an open play goal in Serie A?
Vlahovic?
Yeah.
I don't remember. Maybe never.
End of August. When is the last time Vlahovic scored as a starter in Serie A? I don't.
Starter? With Motta, maybe?
February.
Yeah, with Motta.
February. Like Motta, yeah, but that's a year ago. So, again, when we talk about individual, is Yildiz playing well? No. He has one open goal play in his last 11 games for us. Is he playing well? No. Is he fit? No. Spalletti said, literally, he's not fit, but I'm going to play him. That's what he said post-game. Is Conceição playing well? No. Is Jonathan David playing well? No. Openda? No. Are they all
Is Openda playing?
Yeah, but are they all crap? No, they're not. They're not. And I want to go overboard, and people say, but the Bologna front line has more quality. No, they don't. I'm sorry. They don't have more individual quality. They don't. I completely disagree. Individual quality, I've seen Openda. The numbers are out there for all of these players. They're out there. If one was struggling, I would agree. I'm like, you know what? It's him. Everybody's playing well. It's just you. You are not playing well. It's on you. None of these players up front are playing well. Not with Motta, not with Tudor. Too early to say to Spalletti, but, Spalletti's here, and it's still, for now, it has not improved. So for me, it's actually very easy to say, actually, individually, move them out. They're not good enough. But it's not that simple, because is Yildiz not good enough then to play for this club? Because I've seen those takes yesterday. Oh, we should look to sell. If Yildiz is not good enough to play for this club, then, sell the club and stop it. Sell the stadium, make it a concert stadium, whatever. Stop the club. If Yildiz is not good enough to play for this club, then who is? Where are we actually going? And I do, I'm not a big Conceição fan, nor an Openda fan. But I don't think they're as bad as they're playing. If that makes any sense, I'm not saying they're world beaters, all of them, but they're not this bad. All of them are not having a consistent impact, and that is the unfixable for me. It feels unfixable. It feels very unfixable. I do not know the solution. Maybe the solution is, like you said, you're gonna move out Yildiz. He's gonna change his formation, so maybe he has an idea. I don't know. Maybe he has an idea. That's how I want to play. That's how I'm gonna make it work. We will see after the international break, you know. But for now, it feels like there's no solution out there, or nobody has the solution. It feels like we're just out there looking at, please click, make it happen. But if the issue is playing that killer pass, again, Vlahovic, not that killer pass. I agree, the midfield doesn't have that killer pass. So you need to find, as a coach, if you don't want to lose your job as well, you're going to need to find a solution now. If you want to, like you said, if you want to play with the idea of a number 10, but you don't have anyone, or you're not playing that number 10, then yeah, you just, it's pointless. Like, you're just killing yourself. Like you said, it's killing yourself. It's like you want to play with a number 9-1, you know, and you play Conceição as a number 9, for example. You know, it's not going to work. Yeah, your idea of wanting to play with that is fine, but if you put in a player that cannot do that position or play that position, it's all irrelevant. And you need to find new ideas. You also said, you know, I haven't changed my mind about this club. You know, when I came in about this group of players, he said I'm sticking with the assessment I made before I joined that team, you know, so he's not throwing everything away. But he also said, I've seen very good things. You know, I see the fight, I see the desire, I see that they keep pushing, even though he said, I agree, you know, it's not working. We're not killing off the games. We're not finding a way to win those games. He all said these things, you know, so he knows that he needs to find a solution quickly. It's just, what is the solution at this point? Um, exactly, they're not bad players. They're not connected. There's a reason that before the season started, I said we don't have any main striker. People were very happy with our front line because of the options on the wing. But I said, without a main man, yeah, at one point we were talking about Osimhen. There are about 4 or 5 clubs in the world who will always play top, will always be in that top 5 bracket. Juve, Real, Bayern, PSG, and Barca. Yeah, we're not even close right now. Having a main competent striker is very important. We don't have one. Imagine Bayern without Kane. Completely different team. Yes. But we
Maybe
play
too much
better.
exaggerating.
Yeah, you know, because I've watched us play better football with Matri and Vucinic. Are they top players? No, they're not.
Napoli won the league with Politano. Like, come on,
Yeah,
Politano is the
like
winger.
yeah, but I think he's talking about a very poor number 9. I've seen us do things with no number. I've seen us do things with Morata. Is Morata a top striker? No, I think he's a functional player, but I don't think he's a top striker. Like, has he ever scored more than 13 goals in a league season? Maybe, I don't know, could be, but he's not a top striker. He was just very functional, you know. So I don't need a top 9 to win, but it needs to be functional on a consistent basis. That I 100% agree with. We have some good players. When Mancini would have molded with faster results, Spalletti's football brand needs different kind of players and will take a squad overall, thus waiting 3 years. Okay, but I think Mancini also would demand different players. There was one play that almost worked, but they never went back to it, and it was when Vlahovic received the ball outside of the 18 and passed it to McKennie. I cannot really recall that, to be honest.
The miss from McCain in first half.
Oh my God. That's
Couldn't
why.
control.
Yeah, that's why when I talk about McKennie, I'm like, he's good at making the runs in the box, but he doesn't, like, if he needs to control things in close spaces, forget about it. Like, just like, I give him credit yesterday because he works hard and he runs a lot. And I think he run the most out of everyone on the pitch, like, factually. But those are the things that I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, no, he takes too many touches. You know, if that was, like, even if that was Thuram, it would have been one touch and he would have probably kicked it out of the stadium, this version of Thuram. But still, you know, it needs to be quick. And with McKennie, he needs to think a couple of seconds, like, before he actually executes it. And at the end, the execution is also not, you know, what it should be. They were making the right moves, though. Matri was making the right moves. Yeah, but I agree. But you talked about, like, a top player. Because you said Harry Kane out of Bayern, like Matrin were not top players. It was functional, and I agree with that. I agree with that one. Now I think we can all agree most of the players are not Juve level, and unfortunately, those players are pulling down the few good players. I I was there with you since last season. Why didn't McKennie shoot first? If that was Yildiz is a goal, yeah. I mean, it's not fair to compare a McKennie to Yildiz in terms of like ability, but McKennie doesn't shoot first because he doesn't process. Like, I'm sorry, like
No,
that's
no,
the
you don't
player he
shoot
is.
first. You don't. You need to control it. There is no way you shoot it from first touch. You need to control first.
Yeah, but he takes about 3 touches and then he almost stumbles over the ball as well. That's who
Yeah.
he is. He's not. When I say he's not a good footballer, he's not a good footballer. Like technically, he's just very basic. And when you get a basic player in those positions, it looks like that. That's it. And it's not me saying that he's a scrub or anything like that. I'm not saying that. That I don't. Um, Anyways, we discussed that part of the game, I guess. Is there anything that you wanna bring up that you saw, or like when you talk about that happened during that game? Because I don't know. Do you want to talk about Segrova? Because I mean, I think we have a new Locatelli in our hands when it comes to the fan base being split. Part of the fan base is like, oh my god, and the other part of it is like, oh my god, this is rubbish. And I'm like, there needs to be a middle ground, you know. Um, my hot take was at the start of the season, or when Spalletti came, I was like, if Segrova's fit, he will start over Conceição. And people are like, oh, but Conceição was better. I'm like, yeah, but I think Spalletti will go for Zegrova still if they're both fit, purely because Spalletti said the way Spalletti coaches, and he talked about it as well in the past. He said when somebody plays um, in those positions, it needs to be effective. Is is it effective for Zegrova? No, there's no assist, etc. But it's more likely that he beats his opponent in different ways. You know, beating him to the right, to the left, etc. With Conceição, it's always the same. It's always the same. With Negrova, there's more unpredictability in there. Now he's not completely fit. I don't think it's fair to judge him based on 50 minutes here, 20 minutes there, 5 minutes. No, I think we need a bigger sample size to make up our mind. But he brought something else. Like you know, he makes defenders doubt. Obviously, there needs to be end product. Otherwise, it's all irrelevant. If you can beat your players and you're tricky, but there's no end product to it, then you're watching a nothing. This is not FIFA Street. If anyone remembers that game, this is real football, and there needs to be end product. But yeah, I don't think Conceição is consistently providing end product. So I don't know. What do you think about that Zigrova cameo, and in the future if he remains fit?
No, first of all, as you said, I need to see Azegorova at 100%. This is really the first thing that I would like to see. But if we will really compare Zegorova to Conceição, I think for me there is nothing to compare. Huh? Zegorova is way better than Conceição. We're speaking about someone that played for years now in Lille, knows football more than Conceição, someone that's already at, maybe we can say, at a full maturity, or he's entering his prime career now. But Conceição, someone that he started at Porto, didn't do good, then went to Ajax, then came back to Porto. He did good 6 months, then he found himself at Juve. Like, for me, Zegrova is way better than Conceição, but Zegrova, for now, physically, he's not ready to play. If you want to see him for 90 minutes, or if you hope to see him like every 3 days, no, he's not ready to do that today. But in the way they play, for me, Zegorova puts more or brings more maturity to the game. He's someone that will dribble the first man, this better than Conceição. He's someone that, in terms of decision making, even if For me, to be honest, what I saw from Zegorova yesterday is not the best, but I think that Zegorova does it better than Conceição. So for the way that we want to play, I believe Zegorova is better. And even for Conceição, like when we saw Conceição from the start and when we see him from the bench, there's really a big difference. Coming from the bench, uh, coming from the bench, he's doing good, but then when he starts the game, like he doesn't really deliver. So I hope that after the international break, that Zegorova will at least be ready to start the game like 60 minutes, 70 minutes. I think he can give much more than Conceição. Yeah, that's it. But for me, Zegorova is way more mature than Conceição, and we paid a lot for Conceição. Is 40 million, and today is not really even a 40% or even 50% of that. So I hope why not he can develop himself. But today for me, he's not a starter. He needs to be on the bench, and he's not at full maturity. He still makes some really bad decisions, and even the way he play, I see that he's really far from the goal, and he's trying to dribble in the middle of the pitch, which I really don't understand. Like yesterday, I remember there were four players of Torino were on front of him, and he wanted to dribble. I really don't understand why. Instead of passing the ball, finding your teammate, he wants to dribble, he wants to go. I believe that Zegorova won't do that today. He will first look for the player. If there is not the option to pass, then he can take one, two, but to go and every time he wants to dribble, you will just lose the ball and you will lose your concentration.
I I do agree with Conceição with that take. Like, it's very, I don't know, man. I'm not a Conceição fan, and I still would that take if Zegrova's fit. I think Spalletti will go more for Zegrova, but we will see. I need to see more from Zegrova before I say he's the answer. I don't think I didn't say he's the answer, by the way. Like, I just was talking. He's gonna need to pick one of the two, and I think he's gonna pick him. That's all I'm saying. Unfortunately, I don't think this lineup or formation works, mainly because when we have Locatelli and Thuram and no 10, it can connect to defense, midfield, or a front. Somebody said Fiorentina is next. Yeah, we will probably be the first team to hand them their first win of the season.
For sure.
Cagliari, Udinese, then Napoli. It's not an easy run. I think Udinese is the Coppa Italia, right? But Cagliari are having a very good season, and Napoli, well, it's a big game. They will show up for that. This is what you get for 40 millions in 25. We pay peanuts, to be honest. No, we didn't pay peanuts. I know those are the prices, but I'm sorry. Like, we clearly overpaid for Conceição, and the crazy part is we already saw what he can bring, and we still decided to invest that money. And the pushback was otherwise we wasted 10 million. I'm like, fine, but now you're wasting another 30 plus million. That is my issue. Yeah, you wasted 10. It wasn't a good deal, but stop with 10. It's not that you need another 30 to it. And again, Conceição is not a scrub, but I've not seen enough to say, yeah, we're gonna invest a total of 42 million on you. I don't get that. With high number of minutes, players like Chico, Westham, Gatti, and Jonathan David, we have no chance to do anything. I'm not going to read out the slander name. So Spalletti should have 2 weeks now to work out until Napoli. I dare say Zegrova is the answer. Just get him injury free and lose some weight, and he will be off to yield this proportion. I'm not going there so far. Conceição seems like another blunder of a move from Comoli and co. And you were right back then. Paying for a player who plays with his head down all the time. Yeah, I mean, you know what it is? I'm okay with a player who plays with his head down to a certain point where it's like, at one point he needs to be smart enough. He needs to be brave enough to keep trying to do his thing. But at one point he needs to feel, okay, this is not working. I need to switch it up. He doesn't understand that it's not working. And what is also frustrating, sometimes he has a big burst, and I'm like, keep going. And then he's like, nope, cut back. And I'm like, why? You take all the momentum out of it. And when he needs to cut back, he's like, I'm gonna take, like you said, I'm gonna take on 2-3 players. Like, it feels so inconsistent, and it's not me. Even he came out. He said, like, I have levels to go. He knows that it's still not good enough, and it's not been good enough. That's just what it is. Um. Okay, so we talked about that part of the game, and the issues we have up front. The issues remain at the back. It is what it is. Rugani was sick. Apparently, we brought on Gatti, and I don't know, man. It felt a bit uncomfortable with Gatti out there. It feels like everyone becomes a bit uncomfortable with Gatti out there. The way he just rushes into things is half like, even when he's good, like, and he intervenes good, or like he reads it properly, his intervention is like half. Like, like I did something, but actually I didn't really did it completely. So it's not really fixed what I try to do. Like, I don't know, man. When he came on, I was like, I don't wish injuries on players, but Rugani better be injured. Otherwise, what the hell is this up? And he was sick, so nothing against that. Yildiz and Thuram are not fit. Gatti is a Serie B level. Cambias on the left is back pass king. Wes has no talent or footballing instinct, just a body in there. Chico is a one-trick pony. We are in trouble. Thuram is not fit, so I'm happy he's not going to the national team those 2 weeks. But he's not been playing well all season, in my opinion. Yildiz is clearly not fit because, well, Spalletti told us he's not fit. And that's frustrating that he's going to the national team because, well, he needs a rest. But even Spalletti said we cannot rest him. We need him. And after the break, you're going to need him again because it's Champions League. It's like there's no rest for him. And yeah, we're not in a situation where we can give him a rest. That is the frustrating part. If you were a functioning team, you're like, you know what, we're not going to play him against a Cremonese, or like we didn't, but like against a Torino, we're going to give him a rest. But we're not in that position. And that is very, very frustrating. I don't understand why Rugani was stopped. He was sick. Spalletti said after 30 minutes, we were already thinking about pulling him because he was not feeling well. So I don't know what happened, but he was sick, which is weird because he got sick during the game. Strange. Gatti is a funny player. He tries come off as a hard and aggressive player, but in every aerial duel, he's so passive. I don't get it. Yeah, I mean, it's a fake passion identity thing that's out there that I never understood. He's just not a good defender. I don't think Gatti is a scrub or you should be playing for Pisa or something. I'm not saying that, but you shouldn't be playing for a top club or a club that wants to be top. That's just, and I said that about Gatti, I think in his second season. In his first season, I was like, you know what? I'll, see how they, in the second season, I'm like, this is going nowhere. I've seen enough. I just seen enough. And people like, give him time. He comes from Serie B. I'm like, there's a reason why he comes from Serie B. And yes, it doesn't mean you come from Verratti came from the Serie B. But like when you watch Verratti play in Serie B, you're like, oh my God, that is special. You
And
don't have that.
for Gatti, I believe for Gatti it depends also on the way you want to play. Like if you want defenders to build from the back, Gatti is not your guy. But if you want to play, like as an example, like Allegri used Gatti, I believe Allegri was one of the best coaches to use Gatti because he put him as a right center back on the right, and he was sometimes carrying the ball. He was really good, and he's not a center back. He's not someone that will be in the center like he is today, or he was with Motta. If you put him in the position of Kalulu today, I believe that the weaknesses of Gatti won't be seen. But if you put him there as a center back in the middle, I believe that the weaknesses will be really seen, and you will see the players struggling in duels.
I agree with that part, that under Allegri, he probably, played his best football. But even then, I wasn't impressed, We had Benatia on the bench, by the way. I'll keep, like, that was a player. And yes, but Benatia will be our best center back at this moment in time.
Yep.
By a country mile. Like, a country mile. And he was a good player, Benatia. I'm not saying he wasn't a good player. Like, he was actually a very good defender, you know? He had a moment where he was like, huh? But that moment was once every 10 games or something, you know? But he was a very reliable, good defender.
Yeah, but when
Gatti is,
you have Benatia as your as your defender on the bench, you know that you have great starters. But
yeah,
today Gatti is the start.
yeah, that's also true. But Kelly and Bremer, Kelly will probably be back, and Bremer we will see. And Koopmeiners, well, he is the new defender. Actually, it's crazy that Koopmeiners looks better than Gatti, and
He's
it's
the
not me
best.
push.
Yeah.
It's not me pushing an agenda. He actually looks better. That is very worrying for like two reasons. One, he shouldn't be looking better than actual center backs, and two, I don't want like we didn't pay 60 million for you to be better than Gatti and maybe Kalulu, whatever. Like that, there's no positives in there. Absolutely no positives. I've seen the Court Miners debate, and actually one of my videos this week will be about it. Yes, it's good that he's playing well, but we paid 60 million for what? For him to be a good-looking left-sided center back? No, like no. If we're fully fit, we should play 4-3-2-1. Joao Mario, he's still at the club. Forgot about him. Like, he didn't play again. So I don't know what to say on that. I've no info on him. Kalulu, Bremer, Cambiaso, Thuram, Locatelli, McKennie, Miretti, Zikrova, Yildiz, Vlahovic. Rugani has been sent on loan 3 times, and those teams didn't even want him for the price of half a chocolate bar. And I still feel safer with him than I do with Gatti. I do agree with that, and I actually agree with the entire sentence. You know, with Rugani, other team, if Ajax benched, he was a rotation player. Like, he started 14 games or something at Ajax. He got benched at halftime during Europa League games, like, and that is a horrible Ajax squad. Look what they are this season as well. So
Well, we
yeah,
decided to spend 40 million on Openda.
yeah. And the crazy part is Douglas Luiz is also coming back next summer. So here we go again. And if we don't make Champions League, we are in serious trouble in terms of you actually trying to improve the team. The team in its entirety. Okay, people. Anyways, I think we're gonna wrap this one up. We talked about it. It's international break. I know content will be a bit different this week. I have some fun videos planned, I guess, or something else. We will see what will come out this week. I think news out of the Continental will be interesting because quite a few players stayed or were not called up. I think Di Gregorio said, I think Gatti didn't even get called up, right?
Yeah, he did.
Did he get called up?
No, Locatelli and Cambiaso.
So Thuram is there, and McKennie is there. I don't know if Zigrova got called up.
Yeah, yeah.
He did. That's completely pointless in my opinion. Vlahovic, did he got called up? Like, also
Yeah.
weird. Serbia cannot do anything as well. So that's kind of pointless. Panda probably got called up. Jonathan David, I saw. So yeah, I mean, you cannot improve that front line because actually everyone got called up in that front line.
Yeah.
That's insane, by the way. Maybe try out Milik as a cone out there. It's actually crazy. You have a 2-week break and every single attacker got called up. And to make it worse, for Zigrova, it's kind of meaningless. I think Kosovo cannot do anything really. Serbia
No, they're
are
still.
out of it.
I believe they're still playing a World Cup qualifier.
Yeah,
They
they're
have
playing,
chance.
but they have a chance. Okay,
Yeah,
Serbia
yes.
not. They need to do with the Nation League qualification.
Yeah.
And Openda is not going to really play for Belgium. So yeah, it's frustrating from that aspect. But we will see. We will see how that will go. Anyways, people in the chat, if you haven't liked the video, smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel because the next live show will probably be on Wednesday. I will see on Wednesday. Other than that, there will be just daily news shows. So hit the like button, subscribe, bell notification, because I know YouTube has done a new an update, so not all notifications are going out. Not sure what that is, so apologies for that. That's just out of my control. But the daily will always be out on the same ish hour every single day. Imran, Thanks for joining. We had 2 fun chats with wins, but we're back to talking about draws. That's that's who we are at this moment in time. Nothing we can change about it for now. Hopefully, Spalletti will find that solution during the 2-week break. Anyways, people, that's it. Have a good evening. Ciao.